In the top stories, Consumers' Rights Day activities are announced. Trinidad and Tobago public servants receive a long-awaited pay hike, and Ferguson investigators continue the hunt for the police shooters. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday the 13th of March. I'm Jason Davis. Now for a look at the news in detail. In recognition of World Consumer Rights Day 2015, the Ministry of Consumer Affairs has scheduled a week of activities under the theme Helping Consumers Choose Healthy Diets. A press release from the department noted that unhealthy diets are linked to 4 of the 10 biggest causes of death worldwide, including being overweight and obese, high blood pressure, high blood glucose, and high cholesterol. To improve healthy eating habits, the ministry suggests buying fresh fruits and vegetables instead of salty and sugary packaged foods to eat as snacks, to buy meat from local farmers, looking for grass-fed meat and dairy products without hormones or antibiotics, and replace fatty desserts with healthier alternatives. The Minister of Consumer Affairs, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, will officially launch the week with an address on Saturday on ZIZ television. Other highlights include a consumer information program and giveaways on ZIZ radio from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on March 16. On March 20, an open house will take place at the Consumer Affairs Department from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. World Consumer Rights Day is celebrated annually on March 15 to highlight solidarity within the international consumer movement. The winners and other participants of Sugar Mass 43 will be rewarded tonight at the official prize-giving and closing ceremony. The event will take place on the Bay Road west of the National Museum. The National Carnival Committee has invited the winners, runners-up, and sponsors to the event, which will feature speeches by Carnival officials and local entertainment. The ceremony this evening will officially wrap up the 2014-2015 Sugar Mass 43 celebrations. 2 persons are in police custody after officers seized a gun and ammunition following a high-speed chase earlier this week. According to a police statement, on Tuesday at about 12:30 p.m., officers of the Special Services Unit were driving along the F.T. Williams Highway when they intercepted 2 men on a motorcycle. The officers suspected them of possessing firearms and ammunition. According to the police, the men sped away on the motorcycle and a chase ensued, which ended at George Street in the vicinity of C&C Supermarket. The police informed the men of their suspicion, and a search turned up a loaded semi-automatic pistol. The firearm, ammunition, and men were taken into police custody. They're expected to be charged for various offenses as a result of the chase. Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for crime, Ian Quealy, has commended the officers who were involved in this operation for their keen observation, their pursuit, and arrest of the individuals. He noted that the removal of this firearm and ammunition from the streets of the Federation has saved lives. Quealy is also asking the general public to support the police force in its pursuits in making the Federation a safer place for all. In regional developments, U.S. donations of skateboards and equipment for Cuban youngsters help strengthen the thin ice of relations between the 2 countries. Paul Chapman reports.
It may look like any scene of skateboarding enthusiasts honing their skills, but this is the Cuban capital, Havana, and these Cuban skateboarders are being given new equipment by a group of American visitors.
Cuba Skate is a project that we started in 2010 after studying abroad here, and it's to help support Cuban skaters and build diplomacy between our 2 countries, but to really support the youth here who enjoy skateboarding.
Cuba Skate is a non-profit organisation based in Washington, D.C. It donates equipment to Cuba's budding skateboarders who often have trouble getting what they need locally.
I
appreciate their collaboration and the help they're giving us because there are few resources here. And what comes to us we use to improve our skating.
The US and Cuban presidents announced last December a restoration of diplomatic relations after more than half a century. The skaters are hoping their efforts will help things get off to a flying start.
Public servants in Trinidad and Tobago are getting a 14% increase in their salaries. This brings to an end a 4-year battle with the Personnel Administration Department for the 2011 to 2013 period.
A 4-year battle marked with various forms of industrial action being taken by public servants and resulting in days of frustration for members of the public is finally over.
We have been able to now settle at a 14%. Folks, it is the highest offer that has ever been given to any public servant or any public sector within Trinidad and Tobago within this period. Highest, 14%.
The president of the PSA, Watson Duke, says the offer comes at a troubling economic time, but it is acceptable.
Internationally, investigators are questioning people in connection with the officer shooting in Ferguson, Missouri. CNN's Jason Carroll reports.
A blue line of law enforcement is on guard at the Ferguson police station. It's just after midnight when shots ring out.
There was just gunfire and now cops have guns drawn.
2 officers are hit, one in the shoulder. The bullet rips through his body and exits through his back. The other officer is shot in the face. The bullet lodges behind his ear. They are both rushed to the hospital in serious condition after what authorities call an ambush.
Several shots were fired, at least 3, and 2 officers were struck. I don't have an official status on what their condition is right now. They are conscious. However, those are very serious gunshot injuries to be able to sustain in your upper torso and certainly in your face.
At the scene, tense moments in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Some police draw their weapons, others take cover to prepare for the possibility of more incoming fire. And then, when the situation seems secure, the priority to find out who just shot 2 of their own. This is Tiffin Street, and if you look behind me, you can see where it is in relation to the Ferguson Police Department where the officers were shot there. Police theorize that whoever was responsible for the shooting was standing about 125 yards north of where the officers were shot, possibly right up this street here in that area. Early this morning, authorities swarmed this house a half-mile from the shooting scene. Dozens of law enforcement in SWAT gear and police dogs descend. Some enter the home through the front door, while others try to pry a hole in the roof, described as a tactical situation related to the shooting investigation. 3 people are taken in for questioning, 2 men and 1 woman. Irisha Turner was one of them.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, we heard boom, 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 boom. It's 15 police. He said, we know you're in there. We ain't leaving until you come out. I open the door and scoot back. I look at my chest. It's a red dot on it. I have my hands up, start crying. Please don't shoot me.
Turner says she was protesting last night, and when the shooting happened, she sped away from the scene in her car out of fear, possibly raising suspicions of law enforcement.
After they searched the house, they asked for a search warrant to go in the attic. It was something in the attic.
A gun?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a gun they found in the attic. It was not to be used to hurt anyone. It was used to protect myself.
She was questioned but not charged. Later on in the day, some good news. Both officers are released from the hospital.
We're lucky, by God's grace, we didn't lose 2 officers last night.
And as the day turns into night, Ferguson is on edge as a manhunt for whoever shot the officers continues.
Medics and charities working in Donetsk say dwindling supplies of methadone means addicts are not getting adequate help to rehabilitate. Not only is drug use on the rise in rebel-controlled eastern Ukraine, but an upsurge in the sharing of needles has led to an increase in HIV infections. An estimated 238,000 people aged 15 to 49 are infected, making Ukraine the worst affected country by HIV/AIDS in Europe. John Hendren reports.
It's a nearly daily ritual. Every morning but Sunday, Ruslan makes the rounds, distributing needles, antibacterial wipes, and condoms to the heroin addicts of Donetsk. And since the conflict in separatist eastern Ukraine, he says, there are more of them than ever. Donetsk is running out of the drugs it uses to get addicts off heroin.
They promised to look after us, and now they've reduced doses so quickly that I've had a fever for the past month. Even if we can find it, we can't afford it. We have no money. There is war.
Ukraine's government has long supplied the drugs for heroin substitution therapy, but here in separatist territory, that all stopped when the year-long war began. This clinic once used 2 drugs for heroin substitution therapy, buprenorphine and methadone. It ran out of the first in January. And without new supplies, which don't appear to be forthcoming, it will run out of the second by the end of the month. As heroin substitutes run out, heroin use rises. And because drug users tend to share needles, so does HIV.
HIV has increased because people shoot up along with taking methadone. Because the methadone dose is so small, many people on the substitution therapy started families, got jobs, and no longer had problems with drugs. Now that they're back on drugs, it's become harder because needles are expensive. No one has any money. Now many clients ask us to give them HIV tests.
Already, 300 patients in the separatist cities of Donetsk and Luhansk have lost access to methadone since the conflict began. Another 550 will run out soon.
With methadone, it's nearly catastrophic. We have less medicine and we have to reduce doses to make it last longer. Patients have to live on minimal doses. Some have left the program and have gone on to detoxification to try live without substitution therapy.
A few, the strong, go cold turkey. The rest return to the street and addiction. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Donetsk, eastern Ukraine.
And now a look at the weather. We can expect a temperature high today of 28 degrees Celsius across St. Kitts and Nevis with an evening low of 22 degrees. Skies will be cloudy with a chance of rain showers, and winds will blow from the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. This evening, skies will be partly cloudy with a few passing showers. Sunset today is at 6:22 p.m. The weather brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Davis.